war. We're not winning it. If you speak a word of what I'm about to show you, you will be executed for high treason.
It's beautiful. It's the greatest encryption device in history, and the Germans use it for all communications.
Everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Let me try, and we'll know for sure.
Mr. Turing, do you know how many died because of it?
I don't.
3. While we've been having this conversation.
What did you do during the war?
I worked in a radio factory.
What did you really do during the war?
Are you paying attention?
It was the most extraordinary story.
It's an untold story. It's a story that not many people know about.
It's beautiful. It's the greatest encryption device in history, and the Germans use it for all major communications.
Alan Turing was an extraordinary man. He did effectively help win us the war. These people won us the war.
Everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Let me try, and we'll know for sure, won't we?
As a way to break the Enigma machine, Turing had built his own machine, which was essentially a precursor to the modern-day computer.
Turing created this machine called the bomb, which basically sped up calculations. I spent hours, days trying to understand how the bomb works.
I like solving problems, and Enigma is the most difficult problem in the world.
There's always something about telling a story that is true that has extra resonance.
If you'd made it up, it almost wouldn't be believable that one person had lived through so many dramatic things.
Rolling! I feel really privileged having all these great actors come on board.
When I heard that Benedict was going to be doing it, I thought, yeah, that's very good casting.
You will never understand the importance of what I am creating here.
He's very good at playing those geniuses, isn't he?
I think it's a truly unique and phenomenal portrayal of Alan Turing.
It was a very well-cast British film. Charles Dance, Alan Leach, Matthew Good, Matthew Beard, Mark Strong. And also Kira had to hold her own as one of the only girls at Bletchley Park. She's a fantastic actress, Kira. I think it's the best work she's ever done.
I know it isn't ordinary, but whoever loved ordinary?
I wanted the movie to be a tribute to those who are brave enough to think differently.
I think people would be amused, stunned, educated, moved and thrilled.
אלן טיורינג היה אחד הגאונים הגדולים של המאה ה-20. הוא גויס כמתמטיקאי לביון הבריטי, ועמד בראש הצוות שפיצח את מכונת האניגמה הגרמנית, את ההצפנה של כל ההודעות הגרמניות, והפיצוח הזה, שלא היה ידוע לגרמנים, קיצר את משכה של מלחמת העולם השנייה, עזר לבעלות הברית לנצח, והציל חיים של אין ספור בני אדם.
Welcome to Enigma. The details of every surprise attack, every secret convoy, and every U-boat in the bloody Atlantic go into that thing, and out comes gibberish.
It's a movie about, love and loss. It's a movie about triumph against impossible odds. It's a movie about, standing out and being different. It's a movie about what happened during the war. It has so many layers, and that's what I hope to get out. That this is, it's a complex story, but it's also a very entertaining story. It's a thrilling and it has lots of humor. So
that's what you're doing here. The top secret program at Bletchley. You're trying to break the German Enigma machine.
What makes you think that?
It's the greatest encryption device in history, and the Germans use it for all major communications. If the Allies broke Enigma, well, it would turn into a very short war indeed. Of course, that's what you're working on. But you also haven't got anywhere with it. If you had, you wouldn't be hiring cryptographers out of university. You need me a lot more than I need you. I like solving problems, Commander. And Enigma is the most difficult problem in the world.
No, Enigma isn't difficult, it's impossible. The Americans, the Russians, the French, the Germans, everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Good. Let me try, and we'll know for sure, won't we?
עוד לפני מלחמת העולם השנייה, טיורינג כתב את המאמר היסודי בחקר המחשב, ששמו מספרים ניתנים לחישוב. טיורינג בעצם הגה את הרעיון של מכונה שיכולה לקבל תכנות לעשות פעולות שונות.
Bletchley Park was an incredibly secret code-breaking facility during the war. The Germans at the time had the Enigma machine, which was a random generator of letters with which words were made and codes were sent, and it was virtually uncrackable.
It's beautiful.
Essentially, the government collected these very eccentric people all under one roof. And I always think of us as sort of an odd bunch of superheroes who all have these very special powers but wear tank tops and tweed.
They recruited chess champions, they recruited mathematicians, people who had a willingness to dig into puzzles.
Well, they say they're good, and now we shall find out, won't we?
They were asked to come in. They worked incredible hours. They practically lived at Bletchley.
They kept their spirits up. There was an incredible collegiate atmosphere there, and I think it was a very fun, exciting, dare I say it, sexy sort of place to work, because they really were spearheading the intelligence needed to win the war.
All these code breakers, very young people, brought to this place, and they expanded hugely.
This place went from being a cottage industry to an industrial code-breaking factory, from 200 odd people at the start of the war to about 9,000 on the books. They were working in huts, which are glorified garden sheds.
These are certainly, some of the people that helped to win the Second World War, and nobody knew about them.
It's one of the best-kept secrets, in history of intelligence.
If you speak a word of what I'm about to show you, you will be executed for high treason.
By all accounts, the work that they did at Bletchley shortened the duration of the war by up to 2 years.
Stalingrad, the Ardennes, the invasion of Normandy. All victories that would not have been possible without the intelligence that we supplied.
The Nazis were the bad guys and they were the good guys. It was that simple, and anything to bring about a victory was what they were after.
It shouldn't be forgotten how extraordinary these people were and what they did. I think it's very important that we remember that.
T R O T A H Q
בתורת המחשב מדברים גם היום על מבחן טיורינג, שהוא המבחן שאמור לקבוע האם בינה מלאכותית, אינטליגנציה מלאכותית, הגיעה לרמה גבוהה מספיק. טיורינג חשב עליו בהקבלה לחיים האישיים שלו, ובעצם זה גם המקור לשם הסרט משחק החיקוי, האם מחשב או מכונה יכולים לחקות אדם בצורה טובה עד כדי כך שאדם אחר שמשוחח איתו לא יוכל להבחין ביניהם ולא יוכל לדעת אם הוא מדבר עם אדם או עם תוכנה.
You theorized a machine that could solve any problem. It didn't just do one thing, it did everything. It wasn't just programmable, it was reprogrammable. Is that your idea behind Christopher?
Well, human brains can compute large sums very quickly. Even Hugh can do that, but I want Christopher to be smarter. To make a calculation and then to determine what to do next. Like a person does. Think of it. Electrical brain. A digital computer.
Digital computer?
Being a man who lived a lot of his life through secrets and repression and wanted to understand what communication and truth was because of how buried his truths were. So it's extraordinarily tied up, his biography and his work, his life and his achievements. And that's fascinating for me. I'm not a pure maths PhD, so to be in there with the cold intellect of what he does is very hard, but the human beating heart of it is just that, and so well etched out in Graham's.
All right, Mr. Turing, I'll bite. Why do you wish to work for His Majesty's government?
I like solving problems, Commander. And Enigma is the most difficult problem in the world.
No, Enigma isn't difficult, it's impossible.
I've heard about Turing, but I didn't know much about it. And after reading it, I became obsessed. I needed to know more. His story is so fascinating and is so rich.
It's impossible to understate the influence that he's had on modern life, technology in particular.
He was a scientist, he was a philosopher, and an inventor.
He formulated the first ever idea or notion of what a computer could be.
You theorized a machine that could solve any problem.
Like a person does. Think of it. Electrical brain.
You look at this machine behind us and think this is the first digital computer. That's what that man brought.
He was the guy that broke the code.
Why are you building a machine?
The machine will allow us to break every message and win the war.
His war effort is incredible. How many lives he saved, literally. I mean, he's shortened the war by years.
Alan is a genius, but the social side of that, which he's sacrificing, does ultimately come to hurt him.
I prefer to have my own office.
You're a team, and you will work as one.
I'm afraid these men would only slow me down.
You could help us, but you won't.
He could be difficult, he could be cantankerous, he could be short with people. He's a very complex man, but a very kind, loving man, as well as a brilliant man. But it is a truly tragic end.
What if I don't fancy Joan that way?
Perhaps not spreading this information about might be in your best interest.
Without Alan Turing, our entire world would be completely different.
It's a celebration, this film, of what he achieved and the extraordinary life that he lived.
I'm just a mathematician.
You've got more secrets than the best of them.
טיורינג היה אאוטסיידר. הוא חי כל חייו אפוף סודות ושקוע בתוכם. המהות הבסיסית של האישיות שלו הייתה חוסר יכולת להשתלב בסביבה המאוד מקובעת שהוא גדל בה וחי בה. הוא נולד למעמד הבינוני הגבוה הבריטי, והייתה ממנו ציפייה ללכת בדיוק לפי הקווים הרגילים, בית ספר, פנימייה, אוניברסיטה, להמשיך משם למקצועות המקובלים. הוא לא היה מסוגל להשתלב ולהיות האדם שציפו ממנו, והיה לו קשה כיוון שהוא היה אחר.
The boys were going to get some lunch. Alan?
Yes?
I said we're going to get some lunch. Alan?
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said we're off to get some lunch. This is starting to get a little bit repetitive.
What is?
I had asked if you wanted to come to lunch with us.
No, you didn't. You said you were going to get some lunch.
Have I offended you in some way?
Why would you think that?
Would you like to come to lunch with us?
What time's lunchtime?
Christ, Alan, it's a bleeding sandwich.
What is?
Lunch.
Oh, I don't like sandwiches.
Never mind.
Benedict was my first choice.
He should be anyone's first choice for anything. For a ballerina.
No, he's amazing, and he really, went in and really embraced Turing's life, and does a magnificent job doing it. But I also think we had such a wonderful supporting cast. I think I'm feeling very lucky. I got to pick. Everybody asked, all my favorite actors. Everybody said yes to be part of this, but in front of the camera and behind the camera. So it's one of those rare things where everybody feels they're part of something important. This became a passion project for everybody involved.
Churchill's put Alan in charge.
This is a terrible idea.
No.
So I can give these men orders now?
I hate to say it, but yes.
Excellent. Keith and Charles are both fired.
Excuse me?
What? You're mediocre linguists and positively poor code breakers.
Alan, you can't just fire Keith and Charles.
Well, he just said I could.
No, I did no such thing.
But Churchill did.
Go to hell.
Well, this is inhuman. Even for you.
Popular at school, were you?
הספר אלן טיורינג האניגמה, שעליו מבוסס הסרט משחק החיקוי, נמצא בראש רשימת רבי המכר בארצות הברית ובבריטניה, כי הוא ביוגרפיה מרתקת של אדם יוצא דופן.
You got him to like you.
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm a woman in a man's job and I don't have the luxury of being an arse. Ellen, it doesn't matter how smart you are. Enigma is always smarter. If you really want to solve your puzzle, then you're going to need all the help you can get. And they are not going to help you if they do not like you.
He's always been the actor who's been working the most, and he never stops working. He is literally the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. And the fact that these things in the last few years have started to hit and that the success has actually caught up with how brilliant everybody sort of always knew that he was is totally fantastic. And I think, his interpretation of this character is wonderful, totally wonderful. And I think, you know, it was a huge reason for doing this for me was I was like, I know that he can get all of the different shades and all of the different complexities of this character, and he's not the sort of actor that tries to simplify it. You know, he kind of embraces complexity, and I thought that was important for this, and I think he's done it brilliantly.
Damn you and your useless machine. My machine is how we are going to win.
Really? This machine? Are you talking about this bloody machine? You don't! Stop!
You arrogant bastard. You could help us. You could make this go faster, but you won't.
He's right, Alan. There are actual soldiers out there trying to win an actual war. My brother protects food convoys in the Navy. My cousins fly RAF patrols. All my friends, they're all making a difference while we just while away our days producing nothing. Because of you.
My machine will work.
Come on, Peter.
I like playing people with all their complexities and not apologising for them. I try not to judge my characters, so either way, I just try to be honest with it. And if the story is serving someone as being someone we're supposed to like or have conflicting, you know, I relish the challenge of both of those things. And also I relish the challenge of playing people who are immediately recognisable and nearer to me or to all of us, really. You know, just not these extraordinary characters, but there is something fascinating and magnetic about these people who've achieved or are extraordinary in their given field.
6 minutes. Is that even possible?
No. It takes me 8. This isn't about crossword puzzles. It's about how one approaches solving an impossible problem. Do you tackle the whole thing at once or divide it into small... You finished?
Yes.
Five minutes and 34 seconds.
You said to do it in under 6.
We shot at the school where Turing went. We shot at Bletchley, where it actually happened. Part of it. We shot in London when, you know, the bombing. So for us, it was really important to the big machine, which you will see in the film, is based on the original. It doesn't exist anymore because, of course, everything was destroyed because MI6, you know, was kept secret. But yeah, it was very important to us to really be true to the story of it.
Alan Turing has a theory.
He has many.
He believes that the regulations against men and women working side by side are sound because such proximity will necessarily lead to romance.
What? No, I don't.
However, I disagree.
You do?
Yeah. I think that if I were working beside a woman all day long, I could appreciate her abilities and intellect without taking her to bed. I'm sorry, have we met?
בשנת 2009 יצאה התנצלות רשמית מטעם ממשלת בריטניה על העוול שנעשה לאלן טיורינג כשנשפט בעוון הומוסקסואליות. הנוסח הרשמי של ההתנצלות, אין זו הגזמה לומר, שבלי תרומתו יוצאת הדופן, ההיסטוריה של מלחמת העולם השנייה הייתה יכולה להיות שונה מאוד. אלן טיורינג הוא אחד מהיחידים שניתן להצביע על תרומתם האישית לשינוי תוצאות המלחמה. בשל התודעה העצומה שאנו חייבים לו, היחס הבלתי אנושי שלא זכה נורא עוד יותר. וזה מתוך ההתנצלות הרשמית של גורדון בראון, ראש ממשלת בריטניה, בשם הממשלה.
What's the matter?
What if I don't fancy being with Joan in that way?
Because you're a homosexual. I suspected.
Should I tell her?
You know, in my admittedly limited experience, women tend to be a bit touchy about accidentally marrying homosexuals. Perhaps not spreading this information about might be in your best interest.
I care for her, I truly do. I just don't know if I can pretend about...
You can't tell anyone, Alan. It's illegal.
אנדרו הודג'ס, שכתב את הביוגרפיה של טיורינג, מספר שאלן אהב מאוד את הסרט שלגיה ושבעת הגמדים. הוא ראה אותו כמה פעמים והיה מצטט ממנו. אז התפוח המורעל שהוא נגס ממנו כדי להתאבד היה לקוח משם, והרבה אומרים שהיום הסמל של חברת אפל, של התפוח הנגוס, הוא בעצם מעין הומאז' לטיורינג.
It's like a movie it wanted to make itself. You just were just being, you know, just part of the ride, and it's been a privilege as a filmmaker to be part of something. You feel that you're part of something important, and it's been a great experience.
What is it that we're really doing?
We're going to break an unbreakable Nazi code and win the war.
Oh.
You know, to pull off this irascible genius routine, one actually has to be a genius.
I'm designing a machine that will allow us to break every message, every day, instantly.
You're going to need all the help you can get, and they are not going to help you if they do not like you.
Have you decrypted a single German message?
You will never understand the importance of what I am creating here.
Our patience has expired.
No!
If you fire Helen, well, then you'll have to fire me.
Me too.
And me.
Better bloody work.
Helen, you do not have to do this alone.
What are you doing? What's going on?
The Navy thinks that one of us is a Soviet spy.
You've got more secrets than the best of them.
What if I don't fancy her in that way?
Can't tell anyone, Owen. It's illegal.
I'm just a mathematician.
Sometimes it is the people who no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine.